We getting ready to get into the NFL Week 9. We're saving the last game for tomorrow. So I think, with all due respect to Kansas City, Tampa Bay, we'll see how that turn out. But let's get into it, shall we? Started with the Jets beating Houston. If that one rookie don't drop that ball, the Jets blow out Houston. Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good when he wasn't taking shots. CJ Stroud is still a work in progress. Um, some bad kicking. Actually, they make a couple of those field goals. The game might have been closer. But nothing to get too excited about if you're the Jets. I mean, you still 3-6. You got a long way to go. Houston's a young team. I see it a couple years from now before they eject. Some good passes, and there were some great catches in that game for the Jets, but nothing to get excited about either way. Somebody had to win. Carolina beat New Orleans. New Orleans then fell off so bad after they got handled and humbled by Philadelphia at home that they fooled around and caught up to Carolina. The 2-7 bowl. Derek Carr becoming to what he is sad because that outer body didn't last long. Alvin Kamara's still running good. They got no offense. They got no defense. They sad. And Carolina played hard, but they stink. But they play hard. Washington beat the Giants. Jaden Daniels looking good. First place team. The Giants always play good against them. Now, Daniel Jones had an interesting statistic. He had a touchdown pass, but he had 0 passing yards the first half. But he does good against Washington. He just stinks up against so many teams. They still stink, though. And Washington is looking legit. This was a tough game to win in New York, but they did. My Buffalo Bills beat Miami, but it was a nail biter. Game best, the game winning 61 field goal at the end. If that rookie don't drop the bobble that interception that Ramsey got, this game isn't that close. Games be going too close for the Bills. That's why I'm having a hard time. Yes, they got a cushion in the AFC East. It's a big time bachelor pad, and they own it. But they made this game a lot closer than they needed to. Miami, with Tua being out, just don't play any defense, and they're not that good of a team. But this game was a lot closer than it needed to be. It was way closer than it needed to be. But the Bills did win, and they swept Miami. So you can pretty much put the new flag on the pole that they've won the AFC East. But that's not saying much because it's just not that good. Chargers beat Cleveland. Probably Harbaugh's best day as a head coach, but they were playing Cleveland. And for all those people asking about Jameson Winston last week, he had an out-of-body experience. He's good for 2 of those every couple of years where you go, yeah, he do belong in the NFL. He do play because it was about 15 games. You make him the third stringer, holding the clipboard. Chargers had their way with him. Herbert looked pretty good, had their way with him. And one of the games of the day was actually Tennessee New England. Drake Maye looked good on that last drive when he hit that touchdown to go send again overtime. He had some Brady-esque type of motion about him. I'm watching him. They lucked out with that Poochie kicker, but I'm watching him. But Tennessee wins the game. And the guy that the Cowboys couldn't wait to get rid of, Tony Pollard. How's that look right now with your running game in Dallas? Tony Pollard looking good, even though they stink. This 2-7 bowl is real. There's some whack teams, but there's some interesting pieces on some of these teams, so somebody had to win that game. Minnesota, I just jumping around. They beat Indy last night. They got a Poochie kicker. They might have to address that because they missed a lot of kicks. Joe Flacco, who I told you, October, November, and late December to January looks like a stud, but he's a dud in the middle of the month until you get to the end of December. He stunk last night, and Jonathan Taylor didn't get a lot of run. Sam Darnold was poised. He got beat up. And why you can just slap upside Sam Darnold's head and the refs don't just look the other way and go, gets no respect. Happened again last night, but they beat Indy. Indy's middle of the road, man. Atlanta beat Dallas. Do we even care about talking about that? I don't even think the Stephen A. snickering in the chair up close is even hitting anymore because Dallas is so pathetic. Dak Prescott got hurt last night. Maybe he'll be out. Maybe Cooper Rush will come in and get a 4-5 win, or they'll lose 4 or 5 games. It's over for the Cowboys. They're done. I think Ezekiel Elliott got suspended. I said, for what? For losing weight? Or for not running? Because, they stink. He's skinny anyway. He running like Bubba from Sanford and Son, and they're not putting their running game is horrible. Rico, the running back was okay last night, but they stink. Still can't play no defense. Bijan Robinson was going off. Kirk Cousins was doing Kirk Cousins when he's on it. The people actually thought Dallas was going to beat Atlanta. Some people actually thought that. Atlanta is a better team than they're giving credit for. Now, they're a second-tier team, but they're a dangerous team. They're like Arizona, one of those teams that if they could catch you off guard. Don't sleep on them. I'm not saying that they're top tier, but they're not the kind of team you want to play along with. But beating Dallas, that's not a big deal no more. Dallas sucks. They should go ahead and tank the rest of the way because they just are dead weight. They always fit to give up 30, and they're getting ran all over, and they're done. And they would pretty much have to win every game the rest of the season, which ain't gonna happen to be credible right now. 3-5, they stink. Stick a fork in them, too, and a knife and everything else. Cincinnati beat Vegas. You know the story with the Raiders. Then the show Minnesota running. They always start off quick, start off good, and then they fold like a chair. They got Joe Burrow looking like an MVP. This is the best game he had. Because if you bring the Raiders to town, you'll tend to look good. That was a no-brainer. Baltimore spanked Denver. Lamar Jackson was doing Lamar Jackson things. Bo Nixon looking lost. So much for that vaunted Broncos defense. Derrick Henry ran all through him. Lamar passed all through him. Tore they behind up. It was never close. And it's window food dressing that they 5-3, 5-4 record of Denver because though Sean Payton got them playing better, they're nowhere on this level. They got manhandle and toe up from the flow up. Arizona beat Chicago. Just like I said about Atlanta, be careful of Kyler Murray because they're starting to play better. And that is a winnable division since the 49ers are hurt and kind of lethargic. So don't sleep on Arizona because Arizona got a nice little feisty team. Kyler Murray, they're playing pretty good. As for Chicago, you might not come back from that debacle in Washington. That tip, that Hail Mary, that might have been the end of your season. That might just have been it. Might have been it right now. Caleb Williams, you might not come back from that. That just might be it. Quote the late, great Denny Smith, we are who they thought they were. The Rams beat Seattle in overtime. Crazy ending, crazy game. Geno Smith doing his typical Geno things. 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, including that 103-1 back that went back. The Rams won overtime. The Rams are like Arizona and Atlanta. Those, what I call those cagey teams that seem a little bit better than 500 that you don't want to have to deal with. There are more of them in the NFC than there are in the AFC. Because that's the kind of teams that I keep an eye on. The Rams got talent. Matthew Stafford knows enough to nudge. So don't take them for granted or for light. Because they've had a few games they could have won. Those are the type of teams those are the teams in the NFC that's going to be dangerous, on the low key. The best team in the NFC and arguably going is Detroit, and they spanked Green Bay. Jared Goff, they did enough in the sloppiness of Packer-land, kept Jordan Love at bay, stopped them on the 4th down drive. Detroit wins different ways. They're very complete. Dan Campbell got them playing on a high level. This is a team that I see coming out the NFC, barring something crazy. But again, like I said, one of those kind of teams like an Arizona, Atlanta, or the Rams, that's the only teams that could probably get in the way. There's nothing else that I think, you got to worry about. Not consistent, that is. Philly beat Jacksonville. They had to hang on. Interception late. There was they still missed that 2-point conversion when they tried that pushing Jalen over, and they missed on 2, so they lost 4 points. And this game was a lot closer than it should have been because they looked like they were going to blow them out. Doug Peterson coming back to his old stomping grounds where he won a ring with Nick Foles in Philly. It ain't the same with Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence. They've actually been playing pretty good on offense the last few weeks. They just stink and they get behind the 8 ball and they suck. But they've been making some movement. They're just not a good team. So Philly won. Thus far, this is week 9. I will talk about KC Tampa Bay for a separate because I think that will require its own. But tell me how your teams did so far. If your teams aren't KC and Tampa Bay, tell me how your teams did so far. Let me know in the comments below. And it was an interesting weekend of football. Some things you're starting to see. I think there are more what I call dangerous teams in the NFC. I think on the next tier level below the top. Because Detroit's the top tier. Everybody else is below. But there's that 2 and 2.5 tier that you got to watch out for if you're a fan. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another and share it if you like. Hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay true, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.